I started playing guitar in the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. Actually, it was August 1st that year that I picked up the guitar. And now that actually wasn't the first time I picked up a guitar. We actually had an acoustic lying around the house since I was little, but I was more interested in playing my tennis racket and pretending I was a rock star instead. What would happen is my dad would pick up the acoustic and play his version of Smoke on the Water. And that's going to be one of our first 5 songs for you to learn on an electric guitar, although I'll be showing you the actual way to play it. And welcome to Music with Marky. Okay, so today I want to give you 5 songs that you can learn on guitar very early in your journey, especially if you're just playing like simplified versions of them. And I'm talking about the main recognizable riffs from the songs, not the entire song start to finish, just stuff that'll make it so that it's fun to play along and people will know what you're playing. And we'll start with number 1, which is the one I mentioned at the top of the video here. Okay, for this classic Smoke on the Water, to play it the correct way, you're actually going to play on the 2 middle strings here. So it's not the 1st and 2nd or the 5th and 6th. It's these ones right in the middle. You're either going to pluck it with your fingers or play it with a pick like I do. And that'll be the little bit challenging part, is to just be picking those 2 notes instead of kind of fumbling around and playing the other ones. And you're going to start with just the open strings by themselves, and then kind of bring your hand down to rest and stop them. And what you're doing there is resting your hand, just the side of your hand on the string to stop it from ringing out. And you're going to go from the open to the 3rd to the 5th. And when you're playing those 2 strings, you're playing 2 notes with 1 finger. I'm using the 1st finger to bar 2 of them. They call that a bar when you do that. And then I'm using the 3rd finger to bar across here, just kind of on the mushy part of the finger, playing across those 2 notes. And then I'm going to do the same thing again, the first 2 notes. This time I go to the 6th, then the 5th, then open again, 3, 5, 3, 0. So it's just a little bit about the timing of it and being able to stop the notes. And play it at full speed. And if you're looking for tabs of this written out, they are available for my members on Patreon. I always put extra stuff on there, extra tabs, monthly workouts to be doing, unreleased music, all kinds of stuff. Just check it out if you get a chance. And let's move on to number 2. We're sticking with the classics here and playing the song that has a chord progression you can use on quite a few songs. This is Wild Thing by the Trogs. Now here we're going to make use of the basic bar chords that you learn at first, the 2 forms, the one that's across all 6 strings. We're playing an A here. It's based on the open E. It's on the 5th fret. And then the D chord, then right on the same fret, the 2nd chord form that's based on the A, but here we're playing it on D on the 5th fret, and that's the one where you have to kind of mash this finger down. It's a little uncomfortable. The ones that come after this, we're going to play a version of that chord that's much easier to do because it works for those songs. And actually the next 4 examples all use these types of chords. Anyway, we just have 3 chords here. It's the A, the D, also on the 5th fret, and the E on the 7th fret. And that's going to be the basis of the entire song. And we start with 2 basic strum downs. And then we're going to do this thing where we lift our fingers off the string, so even if you strum, it just makes a clicky noise. And we're going to do 2 clicks. And you're going to go down, up, and then you're going to do the D. 1 click, and then the E. Notice how I lift off to stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, lift. Then 1, 2, a click, and then it starts over again. So slow. And at full speed. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, with this one, we're going to stay right in that same area with the chords, but give you a slightly tougher job with your strumming hand. Thankfully, though, to offset the tougher strumming hand, it's an easier fretting left hand, because instead of playing this difficult version of the chord, the full chord, we're going to just play the first 3 notes of the chord like that, so it's your fingertips, a little bit easier than mashing your finger down. We start with the D chord we just used in the other song. Play it open, just those first 3 notes, and then we bring our hand down gently to mute what's called palm muting near the bridge of the guitar. It's that part of your hand across the strings so that when you hit them, they have a muted sound. And I have a whole video on that as well. I'm going to link it at the end of this so you can go right from one to the other if you want to work on your muting technique. So we start with the open chord and then 2 eighth notes, palm muted, and then an open chord again. And then we're going to be playing straight eighth notes, and we're going to be slowly lifting the mute off and picking it a little more aggressively to create a crescendo until we're lifted off completely. So slowed down. And then we repeat the same exact right hand thing, but do it with the A note, or the A chord, the first form chord, on the 6th string. And at speed, and that makes up most of the song. You just have to get used to that little bit faster picking and the palm muting. Let's move on to number 4. We're going to get all hair metal on this one and just talk about the main and easily identifiable chord progression part of it. The lead parts of the song are super advanced, but you should be able to learn the chords here pretty quickly, and the rapid pace of the chord changes will help you build up your skills too. Now we've got the distortion turned up, so it's going to be a little bit more to control the sound, more of using lifting your hand or muting in between chords. But we start with the E chord that we've been using and some of the other examples here, and it's just this second chord form, and you play 3 of them. And then slide down. Then you mute it, and you're going to go to the 3rd fret for a G chord, mute it again, A chord on the 5th fret, then we're going to go over here to the 3rd fret, mute it, and the 5th fret. So it's pretty simple. It's just those 2 chord forms and playing the easy versions of them, and we'll do it slow. And at speed. So just playing that little part of it, it's a big part of the song, and definitely people will recognize it if you do it. I have to admit, it's weird for me to think of this one as a classic. I still remember when grunge supplanted hair metal, and I went from teaching 30-second note runs to songs like this. But it is what it is, and this one is iconic, and I actually came to really appreciate the subtlety of it, and we're going to talk about that in a second here. First, I want to ask you, see what I did here? Anyway, this one is built on the same chords we've been using all along. We start with the type 1 bar chord on the 1st fret, and we have an F chord. The next chord is going to be the simplified version of the type 2 bar chord on the 1st fret, which makes it B flat. Then we're going to go to the 4th fret for an A flat, and the 4th fret, 2nd chord form, for a D flat. Now, playing this correctly, like you did on the record, and with the subtleties I was just talking about, is all about thinking in 3s, and it's a little bit challenging with the strumming hand. You can end up playing a more simplified version, which I'll talk about first, where you just play the F twice, mute it with your hand, lift off, and put your palm down, and then 2 of these quick, and then you go over to the G sharp, or excuse me, the A flat, and the same thing again. So if you want to do it that way, it's kind of the easy beginner version, but when you want to get it right and get the subtleties like he did, we have a downstroke. It's in the 3s now, so it's going to be down, up, down. So you go down on the first few strings. When you come up, you're starting on the B string and plucking a few strings, and then back down on the 3 again. And then you have this where you lift your fingers off to get the clicky sound, and you're going to have an up, down, up click. So, and it'll be down, up, down. Then you're going to go to the B flat, and you're going to have 2 downs and an up. It's going to be very quick. And then you're going to hit the open 2 strings, just like at the beginning of the first one we did, Smoke on the Water, those 2 middle strings, before going to the next chord. So slowed down. And then you're going to repeat the right hand pattern and do it with these 2 chords instead. And instead of the open strings here on that last little upstroke, it's just a click. So at speed. So you can see the right-hand part of that takes a little doing to get exactly right. It definitely takes some skill. And I can promise you, you don't need to wear flannel to learn how to play it right. So there you have it, 5 totally memorable and easy to learn electric guitar classics. I could probably do 100 of these, and if you want to learn anything specific, let me know in the comments below. Also, as promised, the link to my lesson on palm muting is here. And if you have any other questions or comments, I get back to everyone as soon as I can. And until next time, guys, keep making great music.
Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.